Hi everyone, so today we're taking a look at the Asus Zenfone 6, a 6-inch phablet smartphone. Now this is a reasonably interesting device, sporting a 6-inch display, but more importantly a price point which is very tempting, the just over £200 mark. When you put this against devices which are, well, of the similar spec, you're talking almost double the price. So what are Asus offering us with this device? As well as that 6-inch display, we're looking at a 720p IPS capacitive touchscreen, running with an Intel Atom Z2580 dual-core processor clocked at 2 GHz. GPU-wise, we're talking the PowerVR SGX 544 MP2, which is no slouch, but not exactly at the cutting edge. Memory-wise, the device sports either 8, 16 or 32 gig of internal storage with either 1 or 2 gig of RAM. There's also micro SD card slot available up to 64 gig. The shooter on the back is a 13 megapixel camera with autofocus and an LED flash. The secondary camera on the front is a 2 megapixel shooter. We have all the usual features here such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and GPS, and charging is provided through a micro USB V2 port. Now, battery life is a 3300 mAh battery. Now in my opinion, that is not really delivering enough juice for a display of this kind of size. The look and the feel of the device is very good, although my main problem with the Zenfone 6 is that 6-inch display is actually too big for me to actually use properly and comfortably with one hand. In fact, it's impossible to use with one hand. Now, to give you some comparison, I've used plenty of 5.5-inch devices and never encountered any problem. As I've said in my previous reviews of phablets, it always felt to me around the 5.5 and 5.6-inch displays are the sweet spot for phablets. Any smaller and it feels too small, obviously, and any bigger and it becomes too difficult for the majority of people to actually use comfortably. I ended up getting quite bad hand strain whilst trying to use this device for the majority of tasks. It's very much a device you're going to have to use two-handed, and because of that fact, it doesn't really feel like a phablet anymore. It's a tablet at the end of the day. For my mind, 6-inch devices are not going to last in the market very long because I don't think they're going to sell year on year. For the large majority of people, they are too big. 5.5-inch displays are the sweet spot for the large majority of people. I also found it very difficult to find a balance point with the Zenfone 6 as well. It does seem to be a little bit on the top heavy side. That centre point of the device just doesn't seem to have balance to it at all. Software-wise, the Asus Zenfone 6 comes with a massive pack of extra software included, which are basically all reworked apps by Asus. So think of it this way: if Gmail is on the device, then you'll also have Asus Mail Client. If you have a note-taking app from Google, you'll also have an Asus note-taking app. Now, the interesting thing here is I actually really like the Asus software suite because it all feels like it's been designed to work as a whole, as opposed to, let's face it, what we get with a lot of add-on software from OEMs, where what we actually get is kind of a mix match of different design metaphors, functionality, and so on. Here, Asus has actually done a really good job at trying to make sure everything feels like it fits as part of a family. There's also a wide spread of software here, and all of it works very well, as you would expect. Overall, my time with the Zenfone 6 was something of a mixed bag. I didn't fall in love with this device. I found that the screen size was prohibitive actually for long-term use of the device, including causing hand cramp after a while. The resolution of the display is disappointing, as in my opinion is the battery life. However, the software suite and the underlying hardware itself, the GPU and CPU combination, are solid and will certainly provide a good workhorse smartphone for the majority of users. But do be aware that if you have hands that are either on the small side, or if you found a 5.5-inch display to be absolutely on the border of what you felt was comfortable, you probably won't find the 6-inch Asus Zenfone 6 to be a great device for you.